hello, and welcome to another episode of the Monkey Business Show. Johan is back. What's up, buddy?
What's up? What's up? It's been a while. I'm back. I'm more 10.
You're more 10. You're 10 now, at 11? Yeah, thank you. And then we have, of course, Fear. Fear, we're so happy to have you. How you doing, my friend?
Good. It's been a long time since we've caught up, actually.
Yes, and we try not to talk before we start recording, so we have something to talk about. Dude, I have so many things. So, Johan, Fear was partially my first godfather into Dota, into Esports, when he welcomed me into Evil Geniuses. And that's where our bromance started. And now we're back. And I haven't seen him for a few years, since pre-COVID.
Yeah, it's been quite a long time, back in the days of living in San Francisco.
Yeah. Dude, I still look at those days with a lot of happiness and fondness. It was really fun, just being there, all of us in Alameda.
It was. So it's definitely a lot of fun while it lasted.
Well, it lasted, yeah. It was good. And Johan, I've always been actually super excited to bring you both of you together, because you are, in my opinion, there's a lot of similarities between both of you. And you guys have, I think, also maybe in game, again, it's the 2K editor talking, like a lot of similar paths that you were, like, I don't know. But have you guys ever spoken to each other, like, outside of the games? Or what is the relationship between both of you through the years?
What is the relationship? I guess we haven't talked much. Fear. I think we probably mostly talked at the summits. I'm talking a lot about Fear to Sumail and stuff. So I feel like maybe I know him a bit. I don't know if that's mutual, but Sumail obviously spoke very well of Fear, and I've spoken more to Fear about people than I probably should have, because he was kind of like, after they won TI5. I would say he was a big part of why OG played the way they did in the first iteration, and how I played, and how the core player that we ended up picking, and also the next one and the next one, how to kind of enable it. I think, yeah, I always say that it's way better to just steal stuff than having to make up everything on your own. And I think Fear has inspired a lot of like Dota in the scene. And I feel like this might be the first time we get to maybe talk about that. I feel like it's almost a shame, because I've talked to all my teammates about this and that EG roster and how they played, and how the dynamics was, which is also, I mean, meta has changed, but that one has been quite a solid way to play for almost every meta.
Yeah, I mean, I've lived a pretty reserved life, I would say, right? So I haven't really... a lot of players don't know me super well unless they've played on a team with me, because I don't really reach out, and I'm not a very social person, I guess you can say. So, like, the people that know me the best are the ones that have just, like, been on teams with me.
Yeah.
Well, I have a massive appreciation for Fear, and to give you a little bit of a scope of how I met him. I was fanboy, and I was massive Fear fanboy. Still am to this day. And he knew it, because I told him the first time I met him, I mean, think about it. I've been in the States. I grew up with watching NA Dota. And my first day ever in Evil Geniuses is when I did the episode of A Day with Fear. So I went to his house with Sarah was there, and I'm like, fuck, don't fuck it up, Don't fuck it up. And he was amazing. And we did the first episode ever that I ever done in Esports. It was A Day with Fear. And I got to spend a day with him, and it was awesome. You have no idea how many times I told that story, dude. I called my mom after, like, dude, you can't believe it. I just met Fear. She was like, that's great. Who is Fear? I was like, okay.
Yeah.
I mean, that was pretty fun, because that was like the first year I moved down to Southern California, right? I was renting an apartment there. Had a lot of good times there. You gotta come by and immortalize it. So for me too, that was pretty fun.
It was again, Johan, super fanboy. And then when he told me, because at this point also Evil Geniuses, the boys kind of own the roster, own the team when they bought it from Twitch.
Yeah.
So when they said, look, would you like to come with us to do more things with us? This is how I remember Clinton. Right? He said, look, I would like to have lunch with you, Come and have lunch with me, because if you're going to be traveling with us, I want to know more about you. During that moment, I'm like, I'm going to ask this guy to marry me right now on the first lunch. So I went there with him. We had lunch together. And he was like, similar to you, and said, look, if you're going to be traveling with us, these are the things that are that I'm about. This is my philosophy. This is how I want you to be. And he was super, super welcoming. And I traveled with him after that for a few months.
I think that did look like a cozy roster from the outside. Good vibes.
Yeah, I mean, for sure. Like, for the most part, like, Dota back then, back when you're traveling a lot and less online gameplay, you're just going from LAN to LAN, gave more of like a family atmosphere than having to be online all the time. But,
Yeah.
Maybe we'll go back to that state. We'll see.
It's looking like it could be. Maybe.
Yeah, it could be. That'd be nice. It's
Yeah.
like, those are the days of Dota. Those are my favorite times when like you just go to one LAN, pack it up, go to the next LAN, directly from that airport to the next one. Like, hasn't been like that in a while, but it brings a lot of like bonding time with you and your teammates when you're on the road that long with each other.
Yeah, and also it was kind of good because all those tournaments were that was still how you qualify for TI, I remember. So it was like 3 hype tournaments back to back. Like all of them mattered. Maybe some mattered less, but every tournament still kind of mattered. Like that was really cool shit. And everybody was peaking. Everybody had played so much Dota in the last month. I miss those. Yeah, it was DreamHack into ESL into like a summit type deal. Good times. I miss those days too.
Yep.
And there was just also less pre-COVID days. Yep.
Back when people could get a visa.
Yeah.
Ouch. Oh, man. So, dude, how is life for you? I mean, obviously, I continue to watch your stream and I continue to watch what you're doing in the panels and all that. But besides that, you're still a very private person. What's going on? Anything you want to share, or how are you feeling about the work that you're doing right now?
Well, work or private? That was like 2 questions there.
Whatever I started to ask in private, and then I was like, I'm gonna get a no, thank you. So then I shifted into work. But I would say it's an open-ended question.
So, like, yeah, my private life is just like I've got 2 kids now, so I watch over them for the most part. Raising a 4-year-old boy and now a 5-month-old daughter. So I'm pretty busy with that. But outside of that, like, my passion is Dota and probably will always be Dota. So I decided to quit playing professionally. Well, I'm just so busy now, I guess, with life, right? That I don't have time to just like do all the boot camps, the training. It gets a little bit draining over time, right? To do that. So I'm trying to find another aspect of the game where I can be useful, and still be able to like follow the game and do things that I enjoy within the game. So I'm exploring opportunities here. I'm looking into content creation. I'm looking into like, casting stuff, paneling, whatever it might be. Anything that gets me to play and talk about Dota is really what I'm interested in right now. Without like massive boot camps and stuff like that and traveling for months at a time.
I think you're talking to something that we're very familiar with in here. If Johan has, in a way, it's like, Johan, would you say that it's like fair that Fear is like the first generation of the players, and you're like immediately the one after? Because Fear is 34 right now, and you are like about to go into 30. So he's experiencing, in a way, your life fast forward, if you move to a few years.
I guess so. Yeah, no, man. I hope also to have that, to try and find that kind of balance, which I think I'm also working on. I mean, that was very wise. That was very good. You try to find yourself the happiness and time and balance between things you want. Ideally, we all get to also spend time doing something that we're passionate about and work with our passion, work with our hobbies. So I'm also in the same type of boat. And yeah, first generation, all of us seem some shit.
I mean, I don't even know if I don't know if there's anyone out there that can talk about the first generation with Dota with me. I might be the only one. I remember loading up random chaos, right? And like pre-Dota All-Stars, if you don't even know what Dota All-Stars is, and playing the first maps, that came out. I was like, I've been playing this game for like 18, I don't even, maybe 20 years of my life at this point, back when I was like 12 years old. So it's been a long journey for me.
Damn.
Johan, you have no idea how many times I've met people that said, oh my God, I used to play with Fear. Everybody used to play with Fear at some point. I heard that so many times from the people that have started playing all the way from the beginning,
The best is
I was
when
like, I used to be in a team with Fear. Like, yeah, sure.
the best is when you get ambushed at some LAN event. You know, you have like all these games in your head, and then some guy's like, "Yo, do you remember this game that we played like some 5 years ago?" Yeah, of course, friend. Of course, I remember this one.
Yeah, I was a silencer,
Yeah, I was a silencer.
Oh yeah. People have done that to me all the time for sure. And that's like, yeah, you remember that game, guys?
That's when they play way less, and then there's like a few games that they definitely memorize, and then you just have like fucking 15,000 games, and they're like, "Yo, remember this one?"
It's usually like, do you remember that game where you flamed me? I was that one hero.
Oh yeah.
I'm like, I flamed too many people back in the past. I don't remember anymore.
It's a new world now, Like you can find the logs, or you can find the paste bin that was made a couple years ago. That one was so funny, dude. I don't remember seeing you in it though. You know which one I'm talking about, right?
Oh yeah, I reformed.
Yeah, but
just in time, so he couldn't make it to that list.
I missed the wave. I'm an outstanding Dota citizen now.
I'm not. I'm still not.
I think I'm better than everyone. I just haven't played in like 2 months, so I can't really fuck it up.
I can see that you're not a degenerate anymore, You have light in your eyes, you have happiness, the sparkle. Dude, I joined a Dota game 3 days ago, and I was like, what the fuck am I doing here? Just mini games. I just play mini games.
Oh, that was just yesterday for me. I had the honor
you still play?
Yeah, I play a lot. I stream, I got flamed by GPK just yesterday. I'm in USA, all the pros are here. Oh, well, you want the story? I'm down.
I actually want to hear it. I love these stories.
Okay. So I got in a game, right? Like I'm like some rank 300 trash, right? Nobody even probably knows who I am, right? So we get into the game, right? GPK and Nothing to Say are in the game. So GPK doesn't get his mid, right? So he randoms Alchemist, right? He clicks on the offlane. I pick Nigma. I'm like, all right, we're having some fun. I'll play some Nigma 4. He's playing offlane Alchemist, right? He goes Grievel's Greed level 1, in the offlane Alchemist. I'm playing Enigma. I denied. We lose our lane pretty hard. And then he just starts flaming the shit out of me for picking Enigma for the whole game, and we're having a good time.
Oh, that sounds good. This whenever every story that starts with GPK and another mid player was in a game, it's usually not good. Seb was telling me the same thing. There's people that play it fair. There's people where it's like, okay, one game I go mid, one next game you go mid. I think Tops and GPK had the same thing. Like with him, there's no such thing. Like he gets mid every fucking game. If you don't, you lose. And I don't know. I feel like I respect so much more people that have the honor. You gotta have the honor to give it up now and again, and not just go full emo.
Yeah, I mean, I guess he was still playing, but it's just funny for me because like all the pros are like coming to my server now, it's been so long since US East had good players in it, right? It's been a long time. Like the international hasn't been in USA for so long, and we haven't had any tournaments. There's been no summits, right? It's been pretty barren out here. So like finally we're getting good players in here, and like I'm not a pro player anymore, so I don't have that tag of being a pro player. So like I'm like incognito over here, and so I get to experience like all the pro players raging at like the the US East players, and it's actually so fucking funny to me. It's hilarious.
Oh
having
my
a great
God.
time.
It comes to my server. Have you heard of that, right? It's like, bitch, it's been my 19 years my server, coming to my house and you shit on the porch. No.
For the most part, it's been a great experience, though. Like, I've like probably played 10 games with pro players, and I probably won 9 out of 10. Only that one GPK experience is the only game I lost. So it's been really fun having like people communicate and are good at the game playing on this server. It's nice.
I still remember the TI boot camps in US and the US server games, late night US server games. Oh my God, I've seen some shit.
That's every day.
Oh my God.
That's amazing. The good old times. What are you playing now? Support, mainly?
Me? Oh, no. God, no. Like, in pubs, I refuse to play support. I play mainly offlane right now.
Okay.
Offlane 4, carry. Try to avoid mid and 5. Unfortunately, no. Not right now.
Damn.
I'm in the Lone Druid offlane train.
Oh, I see. That type of lone druid. Incognito also. Incognito carry player. I'm
Yeah.
offlane, guys. Like
I'm definitely
Ammar.
the Razor. Yeah, Viper. I'm all about that.
Oh, I see. I see how it is. All these fucking the Razor's like the perfect offlane hero, right? You're a carry now on the other carry's lane, and you're anti-carry. You're like you fuck his game up. You take his economy. You fuck him in the fight. I can see why it's so tempting. Like as soon as Razor came out as offlane, everybody jumped on it.
Yeah, it's great. Viper too. Same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Love to see it. You just got to tell your mid laner to just play the stun.
Yeah.
It's an epic moment having you, both of you here. I just want to watch you guys interact.
I mean, Dota is beautiful right now. I think like playing like the old style of offlane, like in my opinion, just isn't very good anymore. Like where you're just like some Mars or some Dragonite and you rush a Blink, your mid farms, like it's just not so good. So like I think this new style, like Ammar may have like brought it to everyone's attention, right? Like playing these type of heroes. It's just like it's just a nice style of Dota where both your side laners are farming and your mids picking up runes and running across the map. Like you're really utilizing the whole map pretty well. And I think that's a big success of like Ammar.
I feel like it's also been happening a bit more last year, or started happening a bit last year. People were looking at offlane. I mean, Prophet kind of died out a bit, but then people started playing the Manta Axe and shit when it was broken. And I think people were always looking more than ever before at those types of heroes. Like CK also, it's kind of like half-half, right? Suddenly you scaled really hard into the game and you took a lot more farm, and now you can win it, but you can also beat that stun. Yeah, now I just think it's full blown. Nobody wants to play a hero that falls off like Centaur. Fuck that.
Centaur, Sand King, these heroes aren't being picked very much for a reason.
No. I do enjoy like the casual sniper or drow mid like now and again. I like those strats. Don't see them so much, but I still like to see that now and again. Thought that was cool as well. But I really think that there needs to be a big change to shake it up a bit. Shake the lanes up again. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like the first 5 minutes is so much. There's I want it to look so much different. I feel like there's so much shit still going on with the region and how the creep waves are worth still so much, and the kills are worth so little. And there's like 4 minutes you can win or lose games depending on what happens. Like, yeah, I don't know. I don't think it used to be so intense. I miss the days where Dota started picking up like minute 8 or 10. But maybe I'm just boomer. I don't know.
I mean, Dota's a lot about creeps right now for sure. I think it was Andreas who made a post about like his Marcy getting like 20 assists, right? Versus an enemy like 4 who was 0-5 with 50 last hits, right? And those 50 last hits were worth more than like 20 assists. Something like that, right? It just kind of shows like how going for kills is like not meaningless, but it doesn't really give very much. And like the game is very much so about hitting creeps for the most part. Almost all the good teams will focus on just farming for the most part and being efficient instead of like making stuff happen in the early game.
I miss the team fights. Like again, the team fights that were always happening 10 minutes plus because there was also so much money to get and XP to get. Maybe people were also worse back in the day with stacking and economy. I don't know. There's always an element of getting better too. But again, I feel like so much happens in the first 8 minutes that one team is usually never getting ready for that good fight in the early mid game. Like around the minute 10 when tomes get on, there used to be one support level 6, another one getting it, and maybe you'll force a fight, maybe you won't. Now it's like everybody has their ultimates minute 10 usually. The one guy who doesn't, he gets the tome. It's full on fucking collapse. Somebody has a beast with a dominator. The game is like, oh my god, you lost. Like people have very strong plays and they have insanely good laning phases. I just find it so punishing, Some laning phases can be so punishing, and I don't know. I miss the more even early mid game, Not the I got 10 more CS and now shit's going down.
Yeah, you're like describing like I was watching you at TI. Like you guys were the only teams I feel like that kind of played like that, where you just like got ready at 10 minutes and just ran at the opponents, and your opponents didn't know how to react to that. So maybe you just need to come back and bring that back to the game. Because Because I don't think anyone else other than you guys were really doing that type of style.
Yeah, before, but you remember when it was Manila Major time and it was like the team fight stuff with Phoenix and Earth Spirit and people would lose their lanes, still team fight, and a lot of money was like given around to both teams. Like kills gave so much, both in XP and gold. Now is like with what's happening early game, like something was different about that laning phase. There's also the investment in the stout shield for the carry, in the other things for the early game. Now everything is so fucking accelerated. I think partly because people did get better. The Helm of Iron Will into Dom builds, all these things. What we were doing a lot, we were abusing the laning phase into early timings, into push. We were doing that for a very long time. But I enjoyed mostly, in my opinion, like having these different metas at different times. I just feel like it's been the same for so long.
And
now
the
it's
map
always
has been
this.
the same too.
And the map has been the same for so long. Yeah. If they would just make it slightly slower again, I think like team fights getting there like between like after minute 10 to 15, not feeling like the game is always lost before minute 10 or at minute 10. I think it would be cool to see again. I miss it.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I definitely do think the map not changing for a long time it's like so boring
Also
at
makes
some
it feel
point
stale.
because
Yes.
everyone knows where every ward spot is, what to do around each ward spot,
Where
and
they're
it's just
farming and how they're running. Yes.
so everyone kind of like has figured out the map by now, and it's like I wonder like what would change if you change the map. Like Pango players all of a sudden won't know how to play their hero, and like, and then people have to relearn new warding spots and how to play around them, and it adds a new level of excitement and constantly learning instead of being like at this point at a high level, everyone knows exactly where every ward spot is, what you should do around them, what the best angles and approaches are. So that probably has a part to do with it too.
I think so. I think there was everybody was expecting more map changes with the last patch, but when there was almost no map changes, right? They changed a little bit or something, didn't they?
The map, no. The map is like
Nothing.
changed.
I thought they did a little bit of something.
They moved the camps. Remember? They moved.
How long
wasn't
was
that what they did? The last patch was supposed to be also very big.
I don't know. If it feels like it's been the same since forever.
It feels forever. Yeah.
Oh well, no, but next patch now they gave us a date, right? Isn't that what I read? They actually gave us the date for the next patch.
I don't know what is like officially from Valve and what is officially just being leaked, because the last episode that we made was about the Great Confluence, and we still don't know. Slack just left me out for an hour. And yesterday, a few days ago, it leaked, the date for next year tournament. And if true, that means that the leaks are only 3 weeks long instead of 6 weeks long, which is thank God. It's been
yeah.
And another very interesting change is that for the first time, players are going to have a break after TI. Again, years and years asking for it, which is super important and necessary. So I hope that is true as well.
Yeah, I mean,
have you guys seen the changes?
I saw the date change, but I wasn't sure how official that was, of course. But that was it, pretty much.
Oh, I see. So only before September 3rd is when we're getting the next patch. That's all we got. The 7.32. Okay.
Yeah. So, Johan, look, for example, if the TI will finish November, let's say October 31st, okay? And the open qualifiers start from December 11th to December 13th. And the close qualifiers right after. But if you are a Division 1 team, which makes sense that you're also in TI, so you're in TI, you're on Division 1, you don't play until January 9th. So you have, for the first time ever, a month and a half, 2 months, of trying to disconnect a little bit. Now, the problem is all these other people are going to be playing nonstop, So if there is not a new patch, they might be just playing here longer, but we'll see. Imagine that you could potentially play and not play again until January. How would that feel?
I'm excited for the Dota too. I'm really excited. I think the Dota will be a lot better. Since it's over 3 weeks instead of 6, I think it will be more hype. I think it will be higher quality. I think it will be more tense. I wish it was even shorter, to be honest. I still feel like 3 weeks online with 18 groups is a very stretched out group stage. It's still going to cause a bit of the same thing of the meta getting developed really intensely in the pubs, and then people maybe figuring out a lot of things, and a lot of things don't get shown for the first time on the official games. But hey, I think this sounds like great changes if they're true.
Mm-hmm. And then there is a whole month, Johan, between the last game of the league and the major.
Mm-hmm.
So imagine you could potentially just say, okay, let's just go home for 2 weeks, and then come back and boot camp for the major, which is again 2 weeks holiday that we don't have right now.
Yeah, that sounds pretty. Yeah, that sounds pretty good. Or you can choose to play a tournament if that's what you really feel like doing. You have maybe enough time. But yeah, like that does sound a lot better. Also for this competitiveness.
I mean, I think it sounds really nice.
Fear, to bring it back to you.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, you in a way had to or have to choose to stop playing because it was not really compatible with anything else. Could you see that if the schedule had been like this, it would have been maybe a better way for you not to have to leave the game or things like that?
Probably not, just because in North America it's pretty dry over here as far as like opportunities. As far as like competitive side, right? We got a couple of good teams, right? And it's nice to see that like TSM got picked up recently. But back before, it's like EG was the only sponsored team when I was playing, right? It was like EG, and then the rest of Division 2 and the rest of Division 1, nobody was sponsored, right? And it was, so for
Quincy
me,
also got picked up now, right?
Yeah, Quincy just got picked up too. So it's really nice to see that NA is like growing a bit now. Mm-hmm. It's really nice to see. But will I come back? Probably not. I'm too old, got too many responsibilities. I do enjoy like doing the broadcasting side of things, so I'm gonna stick with this.
From what I heard from Seb, I think as a joke, he's like, I'm one more fucking interview from Jatoro to coming back and clapping him. It's like, I can't take this kid. It's like, if he says one more fucking time, easy OG, I'm gonna have to put him on.
We got some beef there, huh?
That's what drives.
I see.
No beef. It's just
for fun.
Yeah, it's remember like 2 years ago when he said like, I'm offended that these teams think that they can beat me, I think it's like that,
Yeah, it's pretty funny actually. We'll see. Yeah. Who knows what the future has in store? Maybe I'll bring out the jersey at 40 years old and come back and go for another championship.
Hey, Tom Brady, remember?
Tom Brady, yeah.
So Johan, when we did the Fear is Back video, we did it in his house, and it was like the whole idea was like Tom Brady, they say he's too old. But dude, that was like 6 years ago when we made that video, 4 years ago, 5 years, I don't know. And Tom Brady's still fucking playing. He's 45. So hey, if he can do it, you can do it,
It's possible.
Yeah. And things get more complicated when you have certain commitments, I also feel like having the dogs is going to make it super hard for me to even consider. But yeah, I think the system, I mean, God bless whoever ends up playing the next DPC. I think it's a big step in the right direction. I'm happy for them, happy for them all. If it's true.
Yeah.
If it's true.
I think it is, huh? I have a feeling that it is.
Yeah.
And if it's not, imagine like, okay, let's just go like tinfoil hat theory here. I think that they might have leaked it themselves to see if people say, oh, is it good or bad? And everybody says, this is great. It's like, okay, this is exactly what we wanted, We thought about it for months. And if people were like, what the fuck is this shit? We're like, no, that's not our plan.
No, fake news, another fake passion on. Yeah.
Fake news.
That'd be pretty funny.
That's what I would do.
It's pretty smart, actually. It's pretty smart. Test the waters. Yeah.
It's like, oh, yeah,
oops. Who's going to make a Reddit account? Bruno, can you put it?
I could see that happening. That does not sound like a bad idea.
I actually think that you're right. It's not so tinfoil. Yeah.
And Johan, look, I have a confession to make to you. And we talked about this before. I think I fell in love with the idea of the player-owned org. Again, it was EG and it was Fear and PPD and the boys when they owned the team, because I don't know how much of this is public, but so pretty much Alex Garfield, was the owner of Evil Geniuses and Alliance. And there was this company, and he sold this company to Twitch, to Amazon. And then Amazon had Alliance and EG, and they didn't really do much with that for 2 years. And that's when the boys got together and said, okay, we actually want to take it from you and we're going to buy it from you. And the players became the owners of Evil Geniuses, and Laura and Ake and Bulldog and such became the owners of Alliance. So when I joined EG was, we just got it from Twitch. We don't have any infrastructure, anything. It's just Phil taking over the Dota team and then PPD Peter became the CEO of a company. So it was really like a garage like team, and it was so intact and so pure and so fun because it was nothing but them, you know. It was literally Fear and Phil and Sarah and Universe and all of us living in the house together at months at a time and sitting down together thinking, okay, we still have to play, and what the fuck do we do with the company, you know, and all those things that you went later through, you know, Johan. And I fell in love with that idea of the intact EG, and then EG became something completely different. So my only love that I had for that team became OG. OG is the place to go because they're still doing it, you know, and they're more advanced on this. But dude, do you look back to those days, Fear, and think about what if we have done more with the company? What if we like just run it ourselves?
I mean, yeah, for sure. I wish we could have done more with it, but it's like always so difficult to manage a team, like an organization, while still performing at the same time as like competitors, right? Like that balance is like incredibly hard to like hit.
It's not realistic.
Yeah, it's I don't think it's possible, right? So like
it's so far from realistic in my opinion.
Because like,
I mean, you did it for a few years.
To compete, right? Like you have to give it your everything because the people you're playing against, you know, they're doing that, right? And nobody out there is just like that much better where they can just like dedicate a little bit of time to the game and still be the best, right? Maybe you can do that for a little bit, but it's not like sustainable while doing something else on the side, right?
Yeah, at least depends on what you call, like, again, a success or how low your standard can be. I could say OG has been more of a shell company than it was like true entertainment company until a couple of years ago. Like for the first many years, it was just, you know, talks about doing more, but never having the time.
Yeah, for sure. I can imagine that.
Yeah.
But dude, honestly, even after last year, Johan, Sepp, and I were in meetings sometimes 5 minutes before they were playing, and it was like, oh, it's so hard, I'm sorry, I don't want to talk about this, I'm sorry, and they were like, yeah, I'm sorry too. So it's so
you have to get in the right headspace for like both of them, right? Like you have a match, you have to get in the headspace for that, but then you have business before that, you're gonna kind of like ruin your match, right? So it definitely sounds like impossible, but I wish back then I would have made a different approach, I guess, to the company maybe, and just like took more of like less of a player role, I suppose, and go more of like a management style, because like I think I was just so competitive, right? And I just loved playing, and I don't really regret it by any means, but like looking back, like maybe building something in North America in the long run would have been better than instead of like clinging on to the playing days for the last couple of years.
And there was like so much esteem and so much momentum in Evil Genius back then, Johan. It's like they owned all North America. There was nothing around, nothing could grow around them in many ways. And, you know, it was the dream, the players owning the team finally and all that. And I think, look, for me, I spoke about this privately a few times, but I'm going to speak about this publicly today. And we'll see what makes it the team. Clinton, sorry that I'm going to bring a few complicated memories, but I was actually one of the people that own equity in EG. It was the players, Phil, and me. And there was something that changed for me is when they kicked Universe, and then when they kicked you. So the story, how I remember, is that after, so it was we just finished the tournament, and Fear flew back home immediately because Logan was just born.
Yeah.
And
mid-tournament.
You got kicked that night.
I did.
Yes. So, Johan, think about it, okay? Logan, his firstborn son, was born mid-tournament. He stayed, and the moment that the tournament finished, he flew back, and he got kicked that night.
Yeah, that's when Fly joined EG, actually. that was the time. And yeah, it's like, my son was born early, right? So he was actually going, I was going to be back from that tournament a couple weeks before, but he was born, I think, 3 weeks early. And it was like mid-tournament, and I was like, holy shit. So I just like stayed up the whole night, right? Just on call. And like kind of like the doctor's room, like watching the birth, right? Through video. And then I had to play the next morning. It was, it was a pretty rough day. then I flew back immediately after, and then all that transpired. So that is the story, indeed, of what happened.
That's a story.
So you see the intertwined lives, Johan, of your life, his life on the other side, and one event that changed both of your lives at the same time?
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure many decisions change many things. This definitely changes things, but I think at the end of the day, all decisions are great as long as they're done in the right order. You try to take care. Sometimes it's not easy, and I guess these environments, it's been really hard to have certain conversations with people about money, trust. Do you believe in them? Do they believe in this guy? Let's change this, or let's get a new coach, or this and that. And I don't know. I feel like the hardest part is just starting the conversation most of the time. It just starts getting nasty and more complicated when you don't do it. And sometimes people just have a really hard time speaking their mind. I mean, talking to a lot of Dota players is like, it's a lot of just social skills and parenting. It feels like sometimes, it's like, yes, you can say it. Yes, this is a safe space. Yes, we should talk about this. Just face it, And yeah, I think that's been the story for a lot of what ends up being described as poorly made decisions or whatever. It's just the process has been skipped, or something has been skipped, and yeah, then things feel really bad. That thing looks really fucked up, or that whole event from my point of view as well. But at the end of the day, I can also see it. Now I can see it better when you hear more, when you learn more. But yeah, it was poorly done, poorly executed.
I mean, yeah, it does sound messed up when you listen to it, but I think your team was struggling too. My team definitely was struggling, right? And I think both teams, I don't know, like result-wise, right? I could say for sure, EG was not doing well, right? So like we wanted to make some change. I think that was the iteration where I was playing mid, where it kind of got really messed up somewhere along the line, right? Because like I think we moved Universe out, right? And then we're moving.
So it was Universe was the tournament before. So Universe was in Jönköping when you guys decided to part ways, I think.
Yeah, and then
in Sweden.
Sumel went offlane, right? And then I went out of retirement to come back in, right? And I was supposed to play carry, and then Arteezy was going to be the mid player, right? Or we're going to kind of adopt the Matumba Man style, right? When he played on Liquid, where...
Yeah, you were playing carry, I think, in that version. Because you were playing 4 and carry, remember? You played 4 at one point with the Linas and all that.
No, the iteration where Universal was gone, and then I got kicked later. I got moved to the mid role, right? I was playing DK mid, Viper mid. Like, that was not originally how we thought it would go, right? It's supposed to be like, I'm going to play safe. I'm going to be the carry player, right? Like, Matumba Man was the carry, and Miracle was, the mid, as you'll quote it. But Miracle always just played the hero that the TBs or the Invokers, whatever got high farm priority, right? That was supposed to be Arteezy, right? But instead, like, somewhere down the line, I just played Dragonite first pick, Viper first pick every game, right? Just got left on an island mid, just kind of went 0 and 10 every game. Wasn't great. We got Sumel in the offlane. Sumel's in the offlane.
Oh my god, what the fuck are you guys doing?
So I just got like super sacked. I don't know what happened there. I didn't really agree to that. I thought I was going to be the carry player. I'd play mid occasionally, right, on maybe some Pugna or Veno, some cheese, right? But didn't really work out. I was pretty depressed playing that role myself. I wasn't like performing really well. Obviously, didn't really plan on being a mid player. And things just kind of got messed up and the team didn't do very well. And we shortly realized there needed to be some changes. Even I realized that there needed to be some changes. And maybe I thought I should be the one to go too, right? But like we didn't really have that conversation well enough, I guess you should say.
Wow.
So Johan, the timeline is it was Jönköping and then it was Birmingham, right? It's Birmingham where everything exploded from both teams.
Mm-hmm.
I did not even go to Birmingham because after Universe got kicked, I started losing passion also for the project because I was doing Life of a Genius with them and traveling with them. And I stayed back to finish that episode. And then I was like, what am I doing? Immortals already was calling me to move into another team. And then this happened. And I was like, fuck, like in a way I was here, the fanboy, fierce fanboy. And for me, the whole project lost interest. Yeah. I don't know.
I mean, I've since then, of course, heard so many things from Sumel about EG and stories about, the new management and stuff. Like, it does sound like things took a turn. I think it got very tricky, very complicated.
I actually like a lot Nicole, the new CEO. I cannot speak about what happened in the transition. I like what they're doing right now, and I like what we had all the way at the beginning. You know, I just don't know what happened in the middle. I was not there, so. But I know that, I mean, you know this Fear, but Somel has immense amount of love for you.
Of course.
He continues to talk about you.
What do you think of Somel and
years
Nigma?
later?
I think it's a great fit. Like, he's been wanting to play with Kuroki even back when he was on EG. Like, he's told me he's wanted to play with Kuroki in that squad for a long time. So I'm like really excited to see that he finally gets to achieve that, right? So I think it would have been even more hype if it happened a couple years ago, but we'll see what they can do with this roster. And I'm definitely excited to like see. I guess they still have to qualify for TI, right? But
the
I'd
EU
love to see
qualifier
them.
is going to be so hype.
Yeah, it is. It's definitely gonna be super high. I'm gonna be watching all of it for sure.
Same. I was thinking of doing the EU hub, cast all the games or like all the hype games, follow Nigma all the way through.
I mean, everyone's super excited about Nigma because, like, I do YouTube stuff now, right? And anything that I do that covers Nigma gets like 10 times the view, right? Just everyone is super hyped about them. They want to see all their stuff.
Or just want to trash talk. Everybody loves to kick someone when they're down, you know?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I guess both ways, right? Division 2 team, you got the fanboys, you got the haters. Everyone's there, regardless, right? It's the talk of the town.
Yep.
We know that very well.
Yeah.
I think that Nigma looks incredible, but how do you guys feel from your professional opinion? Do they look good?
I mean, they look good enough for Division 2. Just kidding. Not kidding, but...
They're in Division 1 now, technically.
Technically, yeah. But no, I think they look like they had a groove going. Like, they actually looked pretty good, I would say. Much better than before.
Yeah, in a lot of ways, I feel like Miracle's playing like... Sort of like how I did for Somel, right? He's playing very active. He's not being that super greedy carry that we normally see him as, playing the Terrorblades and stuff. He's playing like Monkey Kings. He's playing Tiny. He's like getting really active. There's remnants of like the old Liquid with Kuroki on it. You know, how that team was so dominant for a long time and how aggressive they were, right?
Yeah.
You're seeing remnants of that too. So I think for a lot of fans, they're hyped to like see that aggression come back and signs of life again for that roster.
And do you like the new secret roster? Now that they have announced it?
I guess. I mean, I'm not a fanboy or anything, but it definitely looks like an upgrade from the last iteration.
Yeah.
I'm not sold on like Secret's back or anything yet. We'll see what they can do. They did pretty well at the last LAN with the Resolution Zayak. It made a lot more sense than they've just been changing roster a lot, you know. Yapsor unfortunately had things happen, and then all of a sudden Zayats and Ice were a duo, and it got kind of weird. So it makes more sense for them to go this route.
I think it makes a lot more sense as well. I mean, the team makes a lot more sense now together.
And I think that in the offline, they actually speak in their own language. And they're not speaking English, I think.
Yeah, they said that Puppy said that in an interview.
That could be a very fun dynamic.
It's like Crystallis and him are speaking English. Zayats and Resolution are speaking Ukrainian or Russian in the offlane. And then, you know, Nisha's probably just not talking at all. Who knows?
I would just start talking Danish to myself as well. Like, fuck that. If everybody's doing their own thing, like, screw it.
Dude, Johan, I think that Fear is one of the most underrated funny comedians. He has these deadpan comments that it just cracks me up.
That's good.
Oh my god.
Did you both watch Cold Pursuit with Liam Neeson?
No,
you didn't watch. So it's kind of like a dark comedy on the Taken on his role that he has in like Taken and some of those other movies where he is like always this fucking guy out for revenge and whatever. And we walked into a movie theater, me and my friend Saad, and we saw there was a Liam Neeson movie and it was called Cold Pursuit, I think. Yeah, Cold Pursuit. Okay. And we expected just another one, like another fucking Taken or another Liam Neeson movie. And it just starts, and we kind of it's really funny, but nobody's laughing in the movie theater, and we're not sure whether or not to laugh, whether this is like fucking satire or if it's for real. But obviously it's satire. We start getting it very quickly, and then we start laughing, and it's even funnier because I think everybody in that movie theater didn't know what to expect, so nobody was laughing at first. But then, it picked up. But that kind of humor was fucking good. That movie is really good, especially if you've seen like one or two of the Taken movies. Then it gets so much better.
That's amazing. I'm watching the trailer right now. So I will say that Rotten Tomatoes does not think it was a satire because they gave in grades like not a good movie. Maybe they didn't get the jokes. Okay, well, bringing it back to Dota. So we have discussed about the schedule, the great confluence. We have Nigma and we have Secret. What do you think about OG? Now that you can give us the true view of our team.
From me, sure.
Yeah, of course.
What about your gameplay or what? The organization or
Whatever
what?
you want.
Whatever. I think you guys
trolls,
have a beautiful organization. I love what you guys have done over there. You know, going player owned and then building what you have to, you know, being successful. Very admirable, and I enjoyed watching you guys grow and become what you are today as a team. The new team, right? I personally, like, my unbiased opinion, I really enjoyed watching you guys play at Stockholm. Right, I thought you guys are incredibly good. With Seb, of course, looked really good, and you're gonna have him again here. And I saw you guys play recently without him, and I can definitely see the energy Seb brings to the team and the passion he brings. It's like, it's so noticeable to watch in game, right? Like, you guys are great with Misha too, but like something about like his leadership in game is just so inspiring to watch. You know, like he must have really good communication. I've never played with him personally, but just like watching him stand him randomly and seeing how a team performs like differently and moves differently on the map, just having that one person in there is like super noticeable to me. So obviously you guys probably won't have a lot of comments on that, but I just want to give a shout out to, like, you know, Seb. He hasn't played 5 before, moves in, and then I just like the way that team performed at Stockholm and their movements and map movements were super hype, and I'm very interested to see on how that's going to transition into Arlington, if he can manage to do that again or not.
Yeah, no, I mean, no doubt, Seb brings a lot to any team. I think he brings so much, both as a player and what he brings around. I mean, we're trying really hard to create, you know, still a new project with the OG DNA and a project that hopefully is self-running. If Misha and True could start getting visas, we could start seeing more of that as well and see how that's actually going. I think the performance they had in the last tournament in Saudi, where they lost to LGD, it was great. They played amazing.
Great. Yeah,
I think really that's also the OG that I hope to see for TI. Just with, you know, even more heroes, even more improvement, even more this and that. But I already think that they are on that path. I think they're going to be able to be good enough for this TI. I think they're almost already there. But you have some of these top teams in the world that, you know, you still want to get better than them, and you want to make sure that you can beat them reliably.
Yeah, for sure.
So yeah, I hope at some point all the lessons that Seb will give them, all the things that I could tell them, all of that gets absorbed, and that they one day don't even need us and will tell us like better shit, or shit that's even more correct, or built on what we have learned as well, and built on their own lessons and own experience. That's the whole goal. But now, yeah, Seb, one more last ride. Let's see. I think the best thing about it is definitely how much they can learn. In a way, it's like, fuck the major, right? Like, it's great. It would be cool. It would be great if they won another one. But more importantly, it's just to learn for TI.
Yeah, I think the hard part is knowing. So you can have ideas about the game. You can talk about them. You can know what to do after watching a game. But what is very hard is to sometimes see it in the game and implement that idea, right? And I think that's something a lot of people struggle with. And like what I mentioned with Seb, and what I think is good is like, and why I thought he brought a lot of life to the team while he's standing, because I feel like he's very good at implementing his idea into real time, into the game, right? And making it happen. So if that's something like most people, like, you can talk about Dota all the time, but it takes like a certain talent to be able to like know what to do and actually execute it, right? And that's something a lot of players are striving to do and improve on every day.
Yeah, I think that's always been also our strength in OG. Like, Seb and me has been words, like finding the right words at the right time can be very powerful. Sometimes you need to say shit in the game as well and have people try and understand and listen. But even more good things can be said before games when you have, ample time, so much time, and you can explain strategies, ideas, whatever. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't get better than with him, from my experience either. I think everybody who gets the chance with Seb to get a Seb speech is lucky. Great speeches.
So, Fear, to give you we talk about this in other podcasts, but so Johan and Seb were on the major, and they have to, in a way, wrangle or Boy Scout the younglings, and the interactions were so funny from the outside. I got the first day there, and the manager is like, "Oh my god, it was so bad today. It was so bad today." And then I talked to Johan and said, "But you guys okay?" These guys are laughing. I was like, "Yeah, dude, it's okay. We've seen this. It's like we've seen this movie so many times, Like, come on. It's like it's the first time that they're watching this movie, but we've seen this one 30 times, And now we're gonna tell them this, we're gonna tell them that, and then we'll be up to them, how much they want to follow, how much they want to observe." But we saw, even within the major, a huge change in the team.
Yeah.
That's funny. Young players, they are so special, bro. And also Ammar with a basketball. He'd never touched a basketball his whole life. That was also a sight to behold. Yeah. The kids, they hit the ball. He couldn't stop hitting the ball down, like bonka, bonka, bong. Like there was no flow. Good.
You play basketball, by the way.
I do. I have a lot of ball sports from my youth and athletics. A lot of gamers. It's funny watching. What is that?
Racket sports or no?
Yeah, I play tennis.
Oh, okay, nice.
Yep. Tennis, basketball, American football, soccer, all the games. Tried everything except for some of I never did handball and some of those European sports.
Soccer is this now American?
Soccer is definitely American, yeah.
Oh wow. Okay, all right. I see.
Yeah, you've always been into sports.
Soccer's American. Football is European.
You've always been a lot into sports. I remember.
Yeah.
You still playing?
You guys just a little bit. I just actually signed up for a membership to go play tennis again and basketball, so awesome. I'm getting back into it. Yeah.
Every single time we play something together, one of us gets injured. And then we suck because we're old and unathletic. We play football. I broke my ankle. Johan fucked his thing. I was like, okay, maybe we should not play football,
It's about consistency.
I'm consistently bad. I'm consistently injured.
Consistently bad. Consistently injured yourself.
I'm very good. I'm very consistent at it.
Jeez. I mean, luckily for me, I don't think I've ever broken a bone in my body in my entire life, and I've played tons of sports.
Really?
I did skate. Yeah,
never broken a bone.
Never broken a bone in my life. I even did skateboarding, rollerblading, all the extreme sports too. And I've somehow been lucky enough, or my bones are just really strong.
I was gonna say, don't worry, dude. I broke enough for both of us, so the average is still maintained.
Thank you. Okay, we're linked together.
I did my best to compensate for both of us.
For the whole world.
Yeah, it's been.
Damn, that's impressive. I don't often meet people that never broke anything.
Yep. Drank a lot of milk as a kid, I guess. Strong bones.
I'm lactose intolerant. Maybe that's the problem. I couldn't drink milk.
That's it. That's the problem there.
That's the problem.
How's the arm? I remember you had was it inflammation or something?
Yeah. So that was in 2014. It was in December. I couldn't go to TI, right? Because I couldn't even brush my teeth, right? I couldn't
serious?
hold the toothbrush. Yeah, I couldn't even hold the tooth. It was so bad. It was shaking.
Was it inflammation or?
Right now there's no. I went to so many doctors, and not a single doctor could give me an accurate diagnosis, right?
Wow.
But for the most part, it was just inflammation, just overuse injury, and it just happened instantly. One day I just started clicking on the mouse, and it's just it hurts in my arm, right? Not in my wrist or anything, in my forearm area. It just hurt with every single click. And I was like, all right, I can't go to... I think it was a DreamHack that was coming up, right? So they grabbed Envy, and Envy stood in for that DreamHack. And then after that, I was just like, maybe it'll go away in a couple of weeks. And it just didn't, right? So I ended up having to just miss that TI entirely. And I kind of nursed it back up. And then for TI5, I came back, took a bunch of ibuprofen, topical creams, just played through the pain, just really passionate for the game. It still hurt pretty badly, but I limited my games and I was very smart about it. And it's gotten better over time, but it's definitely still there, right? I played 12 games yesterday and I'm okay, right? But when I was playing professionally, it was definitely a big roadblock for me to like have to think about the pain while you're trying to concentrate on the game, right? Like it's this factor that most people don't have to do. Normally you can just be zoned into the game, but every once in a while, like you have to look at your arm and massage yourself real quick because there's pain flaring up. It's definitely really annoying and definitely a big part of why I wanted to retire in 2017. For TI7 I stepped down because like I just didn't want to deal with that anymore and just let it fully heal. And I don't think it'll ever fully heal, but it's manageable now, and it's at a point where, you know, I played, I think it was like 12 games on stream, and, you know, that's like a record for me for the most part, so it's getting a lot better. And I think lower pressure environments too, where I'm just chilling and I can take my time and not have to play X amount of games in a row, is always nice for me.
So what really worked the best for you? Do you remember? Like, what's the remedies that, or the practices that did the most?
The gun that you had, the message gun, the Thera.
I don't know. I tried everything. It was the Hypervolt I was using, right? So like, I don't. I like to think that helped, right? But like, there's no guarantee. The number one thing that I know for a fact worked is rest. Not stressing it for sure helps the most. And I also do believe exercise helps a lot too. Strengthening, weight training, but not overdoing it. It was like a very fine balance for if anyone has like these type of RSI pains. Like if you overdo it, you're gonna get a flare up and it's gonna hurt again, right? Yeah. So but if you do it just right, you'll be able to strengthen yourself without getting hurt again.
So it was a thing that every single time he will finish a game, you know, he will put his elbow in ice and he will have the massage gun and all that. It became like a constant thing that he had to do, you know, but we were there in Alameda.
Yeah, I mean, I do believe stretching between every game is a good practice. I think, I mean, if players can get on it early, then they will most likely be able to curb lots of things before it flares up, you know, like backs or arms or wrists, and just pay some attention to it, you know. I mean, most players don't bat an eye and don't give a fuck, and it ends up...
Posture as well, I was going to say.
Yeah, posture, exactly. Chair, table, how your shoulders are, how you're resting. If you're going to spend 1 hour sitting in any position, make sure it's good, you know.
Fear has the best posture I ever seen in my life. He had like the perfect study arm, and he would pull like, dude, I still have the things that I bought from that you ordered, the elbow pillows.
The elbow pillow? Yeah.
So Johan, you got elbow pillows.
I'm showing you on my camera right now. Here, just you can't see it right now, but everyone else will later.
I still have
elbow pillows. They're amazing, aren't they? They're just comfort at this point.
Yeah, because it was like he had the perfect posture and he was playing. But yeah, dude, if you had like a few advice that you could give to the new players, the new generation, what would it be? Anything from life to saving money to how to build a team.
Oh, I mean, there's a lot of stuff, I guess. Number one would be your health, right? Always take care of your health. And I think for players that want to have like a long career, like luckily for me, even though I did have an injury, like I'd say it ruined my career, but like I somehow won a TI after getting injured. Don't know how that happened, but regardless, I'd rather have that not happen, right? So just focus on your posture. And you mentioned how my posture's good. Like it always hasn't been good. That's probably part of the reason why I got injured, right? It was very trained. I trained myself to have good posture at some point. I used to play with no armrest, you know, slouched, had really bad posture. So keep a good eye on your health, you know, go to the gym every once in a while if you can, eat healthy, have good posture, take care of yourself, because as you get older, if you don't, you'll learn that'll catch up to you real fast. Wow. And I think that a lot of people will take that for granted, and they probably, in your mid-20s, you don't think you're ever going to get old, right? But it's not that far away, trust me. It's not that far away.
I'm very glad that I have you here saying this at 34, because I literally said this to many people. It's like, you feel that you're indestructible right now in your 20s, but fuck, the back pain that you have in your 30s, the way that you used to eat in your 20s, you're not allowed to do that in your 30s. You will not go to sleep.
You can feel like you're indestructible in your 30s too if you take care of yourself. That's all it is, though, right? You just can't just go on cruise control and live life always how you have, sleeping 4 hours a day, going to bed at 4 o'clock in the morning, waking up at 10. You can't do that anymore while eating like Doritos and having a horrible diet and not have issues, bad posture, put it all together, not exercising. If you exercise, you can still have like great health and feel great about yourself.
Yep, amen to that. Yeah.
Johan is big in health as well. And so you know that the OG team lives in his house? Are you aware of this story or how this goes?
I've heard of that, yeah.
Yeah. So Johan, he created like the fantasy bootcamp place. He wanted specific things that he felt that it would make the team better. The whole house is like open up to the grass and the field, and there's a lot of like the doors completely open, to the field, and there's like outdoor pool, gym, the chef, the volleyball court, and he's planting now. He's like growing his own vegetables. Is that?
Oh, really? What are you growing?
Potato farmer here.
We've harvested a few things already. We harvested potatoes, tomatoes, carrots, lots of broccoli. We had broccoli yesterday too from the garden. It was really nice.
Who does the gardening? Is it one of the? You do the gardening? Oh, nice.
I've been doing all of it, but now I'm kind of, I got really tired of the bins. I bought some black raised garden bins, but they're too narrow and they're also black or dark colors. So they absorb the sun. They get too hot. It's not good. It's not the ideal soil conditions. And for me, that's what the whole point is like to have the best organic soil possible so you can have the tastiest, most organic vegetables possible, and nice and sweet and big and whatever. So I'm kind of redoing a lot of things right now. So it's a lot of
really
moving shit around. Yeah, because I'm going to take all the bins. I'm not going to at least grow vegetables in them anymore. And I need like a really good, steady compost production, like high soil production, because I need a lot of soil. So it's monumental process and project. And now I'm also learning irrigation. So maybe in a year or so, I'll say that I feel smart about gardening. But for now, I'm just about learning and trying to make some good compost.
You already sound pretty smart about it to me.
He uses a lot of videos on YouTube about it.
YouTube is my teacher, man. Can learn everything on the internet. Yeah, it really is.
You can.
Yes.
Johan, are you going to plant it on the ground now? Is that your idea? No more cases?
No. I still want raised garden bins. Like, there's a lot of benefits to raised garden bins, other than them just being more fun. Like doing it on the ground at all time. Like we're talking about old age and back issues. Is so much more fun. Never having to bend over like as your first thing in the morning. But some things can go in the ground. Surely, like some of the plants are better in the ground as well. But yeah, it's cool. It's going to look so much better what we're doing now. So we're moving bricks around, doing a brick wall instead and making it a lot thicker. And it's like curved instead of just square. No more squares. Squares are banned. It's all just circles and snakes and whatever now. Yes.
So what I was saying, Fear, they have like the house there. And I think that I was going to segue to something. It's like I feel that Johan and Seb have had a lot of impact in the roster and also other things that we want to do inside OG with other rosters. And I think I always had like the idea that you could do this as well for another roster, Like if you were to like godfather a roster all the way through, I think that there's so many things that you've learned that the new generation, can benefit from.
Yeah, I mean, I've definitely thought about it. It's just finding the right group of guys and also like balancing the family life I have too, right? Because like I'm also like, I guess not grandfathering, but literally fathering my children right now in my own way too. So it's like, it's just the time investment of like being able to like do that without having to travel for super long durations at a time would be definitely something I'd be interested in and could be cool.
So that's the key. You have to get them a house in front of your house.
Yeah, exactly. We have to just
that's exactly it.
Just a neighboring house.
Or like Johan said, they just bring it into my house. Yeah. I don't want to go anywhere else, so I'm going to bring you guys here.
I have to get a bigger house, unfortunately.
Yeah. Are you still in Southern California without really telling anybody where you live?
Yeah, I'm still in Southern California.
Okay, the same. Cool.
Yep, just a different city, but very close by to where I lived before.
That's awesome. How is Sarah doing, dude?
Good. She's doing good. Yeah, she's doing really well. Everyone's doing well over here. We're all happy. I'm home more often now, so that makes everyone happier.
That's awesome, dude.
Nice. Home is great. I'm loving not traveling myself.
Yeah.
I haven't been home
After
in 2
doing
months.
it for so long, it's like definitely refreshing, right?
Yeah, for me, it's been I've traveled so much, and I've been like during COVID, I was remote pretty much for a year and a half, and I was losing my mind. I was like, I just want my bed, I just want my chair, and now I'm in Madrid, and I'm flying back tomorrow to LA, and then I spend 2 days there, and then I go to Arlington, and then after Arlington, 2 days in LA, and then Malaysia, and then 2 days there, and then Saudi again. So yeah, I'm gonna be jumping around again. It's all right.
You're on that jet life right now.
I am, but dude, like my legs, I have to wear like I know this is very embarrassing, but I have like compression socks, like the pregnant ladies. That's my life. My compression socks.
I travel with those.
You do as well? I feel like a pregnant lady.
I did for years.
Fear, my friend, it was wonderful having you here. I wish you all the luck in the world. I will continue watching your stream and your Dota content. And dude, hopefully, maybe we find things that we can do all together. I know Johan always wants people to come and cast the games with him.
Absolutely.
So if you're available, ping him. And I'll connect both of you.
Nice.
Yeah, thanks for having me on. I appreciate it. It was very fun, insightful. Thanks for bringing me and giving me the opportunity to have a chance to talk with you guys again.
We should do it again. It was amazing. Thank you so much, my friends.
All right.
Have a great day, both of you.